Hi, my name is Jerry Ludlow. This session is going to be all about planning your painting from the first idea through to the finished painting. I've chosen a good subject for explaining how I would go about painting this image of some cottages from a photograph. Now the sun is to the left, casting some nice shadows to the right. But I do want to change a few things. I want to change the length of the shadows. I'm going to change the shadow there, and there, making them much longer coming across the road. Also, I wanted to put a shadow here which will come from making a tree a bit larger there. Also, I'll put in a window, the top of a window there. I think that will break that ball up a bit more, look a bit better. And in this area here, it's a bit empty, needs something to stop your eye wandering out there. So I'll put a couple of pedestrians walking up the road there, just there. Now I like some of the lighter parts of this painting, this photograph. The tops of the bushes, very nice. Tree, the dormer windows, the sun on there, and this area here, and the chimney pot all look nice. And I do like the telegraph post and the telephone wires leading from it into the picture. I'm happy with everything else. The trees in good positions. Probably won't put that one in, and we'll keep this one, maybe make it this one a bit larger, and just blend this area in here and keep this signpost as well. On with the drawing. Shouldn't take too long, no more than a few lines really. Starting with the cottages, just doing some quick lines just to make sure it's all going to fit. Just quickly putting in some of the foliage and putting in the road, the track outside. It's a little bit of perspective there on the cottage. A couple of trees there on the right hand side. Just a reminder of where the telegraph pole is, and putting in the windows. Putting the side of the cottage in a bit more so that you can actually see it. And then there's these shrubs and a small stone wall. And then very quickly putting in a couple of figures, being mindful of the size of them, which you should be when you do put figures in, that they're in keeping with the size of the doorways of buildings nearby, and that they would actually get through them. There we have our couple. Just going over these dormer windows and the windows, and putting in the roof line. And there's these side windows that I'm putting in that aren't actually there. Will look much better than a blank wall. And that's the. Here are the colours that I have on my palette, starting with sepia, Payne's grey, French ultramarine, cobalt blue, cerulean blue, and cobalt turquoise, neutral tint, light red, raw umber, burnt sienna, raw sienna, quinacridone gold, hooker's green, sap green, cadmium yellow, alizarin crimson, opera rose, cadmium red, jaune brilliant, and lavender. And I also use white and white gouache as well. Starting with the sky first, which is going to be cobalt blue and cerulean blue. Just going to dampen the sky area a little bit so that the paint flows better. Sometimes I use a brush, and sometimes just use a spray bottle. Using a medium size mop, number 6. This will dry lighter. And now I'm mixing raw sienna and a little cadmium yellow. Very dilute wash for a first wash on the pathway. Also adding some burnt sienna. Keeping the top half of the the two walkers clear. Adding some more cadmium yellow to the mixture to make it nice and bright for the area where the shrubs are on the left. And just losing some of the white on the front of the building with some of the mixture that I made for the sky. This is Payne's Grey and some sap green. Going over the area at the back. I have let the paper dry, which I fast forwarded on this. Mixture of colours. Sap green, French ultramarine, very cool colours for the area at the back of the painting where the trees are, so that they recede back. All very quick. Try not to repeat shapes, make the shapes interesting and different. Now going in with the original mixture that I had with the gold and the raw sienna. This is going to be quite bright when it dries. Adding some light red, making it warmer as we come to the foreground. All very quick, all very loose. Raw umber. Just popping in the area where the shrubs are at the front left. Don't worry about going over the edges onto the masking tape. The paper that I'm using is 140 pounds rough Saunders Waterford. And the tape that I use is just regular decorating tape, masking tape. Just popping in some of the shadows, which is going to be cobalt blue, a little bit of alizarin crimson. Using a medium round brush and now working on the trees. You see that I'll keep going into the previous mixtures and adjusting. In this case, I'm adding the greens to the yellows and oranges. It's quite a nice way of working because it keeps it quite random. And the more you mix paint, the more you begin to understand what the colour would look like when it dries. Putting in some lights and darks. French ultramarine, alizarin crimson, just a little, very strong colour, that one. Excellent for mixing with blues to make shadow colours. And a little light red. Keeping the mixture quite watery for this wash. And varying the large shadow on the side of the cottage by putting in some light red. I like putting in other colours into shadow colours, it just makes it more interesting. Doing the other shadows now, the front of the cottages and coming across the road. Nice to do shadows quite fast and try to do them in one. Going over the bottom half of the figures. Just varying it slightly. Some warm tones in the shadows there. Some reds. Going deeper at the foreground and taking it up to the hedges on the other side. Now putting in the shadows on the tree area. Keeping the sunlight on the top of the hedges. Just putting some clean water on the top of the tree there to blend in the shadow colour so it's not too much of a hard edge. Putting some darks, which would be the coming from the top of the hedges on the right, just to break up that area, and it will dry it quite a bit lighter. Now I'm doing a mixture of Payne's grey and alizarin using a small brush now, small round, doing some broken edges on the side of the cottage, putting in those windows, not making too much of them. Windows on the front of the building. And the chimney and the dormers. Just putting in some of the stones that make up the small wall that at the front of the garden, the cottage. And now the post at the back of the top of the hill, with the telephone wires leading to the beyond the cottage and to the next post, using a rigger brush, which is a very fine tipped brush. Keeping the wires with a broken line. And now the sign at the back of the picture, which is where the painting's leading us to, that sign and the post, and the post and the telegraph pole. Doing the chimney pots in light red. Doing the fascia at the front of the building, just smearing it with my finger. Just putting some marks here with this small brush, not worrying too much about all the bits and pieces at the front of the cottage. And now some lines in the track, just giving a sense of movement and an indication of where the track's going. Now the two people. Walking along the road. It needed something in the right corner here. Otherwise that'd have been quite empty. Putting in a nice bright colour for the lady's coat. Keeping the heads nice and small. and putting in some branches and the trunk of the tree. Really just an indication of what's there. It's very easy to get carried away with that kind of thing. And then add into the shadow of the couple. And using some red and burnt sienna for the wall, just an indication of it there, and some water, all very loose. And the small wall or gate or whatever was there, done in the same colour. And using Hooker's green, very small amount, very strong colour, with some blues, ultramarine, just to take off that brightness of the green. Putting in the tree that's at the back of the building. And also using the same mixture in these bushes and brambles and bits and pieces that are on the right hand side. Putting in some darkness on the back of the hedges, just to give it a bit of contrast. Quite a dry brush, just going here and there. Making the shadow at the base of the building a little bit darker. I've let that dry, and now I'm using a putty rubber to just get rid of those pencil marks. They've not had any paint on them, so they come off quite easy. And I'm just going to add to the tree on the left hand side, which would be casting the shadow on that wall of the house. Nice and dark. And now removing the tape very carefully. It's a fairly simple subject and a good one for learning how to start a painting from start to finish from a photograph and making some adjustments. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, because it does help me to produce more.